Hey guys, Furum here, and today I will not be testing the 4GT in multiplayer. A fellow member of Purple Team, Gurkirat Singh, has kindly allowed me to use his races for a video. So this is a 4-star 4GT with 11, 11, 11, 11 on upgrades, and all import parts and everything but nitro and handling, in which the only import parts not added are the epic ones. So this is almost a completely maxed 4GT, and even at 1 star, which I have mine at, it is still fairly fast, and it's even faster at this rank. The 4GT and the Cadillac CN are the best cars to use this multiplayer season, because you cannot use A or S class cars, and you cannot use the SCG for some reason in Class B. So yeah, the other two best cars in Class B are the CN and 4GT, and I will say the Acura is probably the other best one. Now in this race, my friend's main competition is another 4GT, who is also at 4 stars, with a few less import parts applied, I believe, and here he is passing him. Also in the race, there is a 2-star Acura NSX, as well as a couple Exotic Rides W70s and an Asterion. So yeah, the main car to worry about is that 4GT, which is directly behind. However, I will say, although I have not faced many 4-star 4GTs in my Acura, any of the ones at like 2 to 3 stars, I've generally been able to beat. Now, of course, on the longer and straighter tracks, this has been quite difficult, because the 4GT is quite a bit faster, because even at 1 star, it goes like 15 miles per hour faster than my 3-star Acura. It's just the Acura has much better acceleration and drifting. So we've come in first in this race, ahead of that other 4GT who appears to have just hit Legends League. By the way, so as not to be confusing, I will be using the word we throughout this race to talk about the driver of this car. I don't want to say I, because I'm not the one driving it, but I don't want to say he, because then you might think I'm talking about somebody else in the race. So I'm just going to say we. Let's just remember, it's not me driving. So while the 1 and 2-star 4GTs do not start up especially fast, the 4-star one is not too shabby with the acceleration. By the way guys, I don't know if you saw this at the beginning of the video, but even though this car is yellow, the wheels are purple. So from what I've seen so far, the 4GT's nitro efficiency seems to be at least fairly good, not on SCG levels, but better than the Acura, whose nitro efficiency is not really all that great at all, and that's really the only thing I don't like about that car. So after seeing these races, I will definitely try to star at my 4GT just as much as I can as well. Oh, and by the way, I have managed to 3-star my SCG, so hopefully in the next multiplayer season, which will likely be able to use the Egoista and therefore a lot of S-Class cars, I'll be able to use the SCG, which means I'll be able to see how it can compete against those higher cars, which should be quite interesting. So we have now come into first place with another 4GT in second place, but still not on the map, and the car in third place is a rank 3,200 Corvette Grand Sport, the car that is really horrible for its rank, and you have to star it up a lot for it to be really any good. However, there is still hope for people that did get that car and were extremely disappointed with it. Gameloft is apparently going to be buffing it, I think, probably to make it a bit faster to be better for its rank. So we beat what appears to be a 3-star 4GT and that Corvette Grand Sport, along with the Acura and 2 exotic rides. And with the exotic rides being so popular, I can almost guarantee you that you will find at least 1 or 2 in every single multiplayer race you play in Asphalt 9. It's just crazy. So now we have a race against a 4-star Acura as well as a Cadillac CN Concept, which is the second best car in this season, I believe. However, this one is only 2 or 3 stars, so it's not quite as good as it could be. Now you have got to keep in mind, the Cadillac CN, most people, especially on Windows, do not have it at more than like 2 or 3 stars. Probably nobody has 4-starred it yet, because it has those events that come out every so often for it, and over a 4-day period, you can probably get maybe 20 or so blueprints for it. But since these alternate with other cars like the Rizvani Beast Alpha and the Trion Nemesis and cars like that, they only come every couple weeks. So yeah, while you may find some 4-star 4GTs like this one running around, you're probably not going to find any 4-star CNs. So that is why, even though the CN is technically the second best car in this season, in practice it's not, because nobody has it at the best it can be, so you can often beat them with cars like the Exotic Rides and the Asterion and stuff like that are easier to star up, as well as the Acura and the 4GT. So we are in first place again in this race, coming up fairly close to the finish line. And if anybody was wondering from my previous videos, yes, I am feeling better. Thank you all so much for your wishes. So we go up the barrel roll and cross the finish line in first place. And by the way, Gurkirat Singh is in the A9UF club. Now, A9UF stands for Asphalt 9 Universal Family. It is a Google Plus community. Similar to Purple Team, it has fewer members, around 700, but a lot of them are very active, so I'll put a link to that in the description. So we beat the CN Concept and the NSX, as well as a 2000 rank 4GT, which did not do especially great. You see, while the 4GT is definitely fast at 1 star, it's kind of like the Aston Martin DB11, and while it's fast once it gets up to speed, it has bad acceleration, and the 4GT has with it bad drifting at 1 star as well. So if you can get up to speed and have a fairly straight track, it may not be a problem. However, you will probably have a higher win rate in, say, a 2-star W70 or Asterion. You can even make it to Legends League in a 2-star 911, so if that's all you have, then go for it. You can make it there. So Cairo is one of the tracks that I found where in my Acura, some of the faster cars like the 4GT, the CN, even the Jaguar F-Type tend to catch up in sections like this one, which do not require much drifting and is pretty much just straight all the way. Now, I do usually get back ahead of them in the 360 thing at the end, but sometimes I don't and they can pass me. So honestly, even though Cairo seems like a quite twisty track, it's fairly good for high top speed oriented cars that don't have all that great of acceleration or handling. So in this race, we're facing, I believe, a 2-star 4GT, a 2-star Asterion, and 2 Corvette Grand Sports. Yeah, those cars again. The thing about them is they don't drive horribly. I mean, they're actually quite fun to drive from what I've heard. At Max Pro, they have really good drifting, really good nitro efficiency, pretty good acceleration. The thing is, they're just slow. So yeah, even though I haven't gotten the car myself, and I don't really plan to try to, I have like 10 out of 30 of the blueprints. I don't know, maybe if it comes back I'll try. But anyway, if they buff it, which they said they're going to, I'm going to be glad for the people that have gotten it, because otherwise they have a fairly useless car. A couple of them did do pretty well in this race, like the guy behind us is one and the guy in 4th place is one, but generally speaking, they can be beat by a lot of lower ranked cars that are just as fast, if not faster. I think that's probably the biggest current problem with the Corvette, the fact that its stats are just far lower than what its rank would indicate. That's why I think they will probably make it faster to make them balance out more. In this race, we are facing a Corvette Grand Sport, which we have just bumped, an Asterion, and 5 Exotic Rides W70s. Yes, 5. And they are all at 2-star. I'm going to be making a video about my 2-star exotic rides fairly soon, because I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably wanting to see a video about that since they are so very popular, and maybe you want to know why. So this route he takes over to the ride on Rome is different than the one I take. I usually go left and then flat spin across the lake. The way he takes is a bit longer. However, who knows, it seems to have better airspeed and it may be faster. I will try testing it sometime, because I do know that when you flat spin over the lake, your speed goes down quite a good bit when you go up so high. If anyone can confirm in the comments below which one is indeed faster, that would be very helpful. So one different kind of Asphalt 9 video you can expect sometime soon, I don't know exactly when, but I will be making it, is a comparison to figure out the King of Class D between the Shelby GT350R and the Hemi. I have 3-starred and completely maxed out the Hemi, and I have 4-starred and nearly maxed out the Shelby, except for a couple import parts that you cannot even get yet. So that will be definitely an interesting video. Here you will see just how bad the Corvette Grand Sport really is for its rank. It's a 3600 one who got beat by 3 2200 Exotic Rides W70s. And if you think that's just a fluke, like he messed up or they played especially well or something, no, this is pretty much what happens most of the time. I've played a lot of races against the Corvette Grand Sports, and more often than not, they do get beat by those exotic ride cars. Now, there have been some people who have gotten quite good at playing in the Corvette Grand Sport, and I definitely commend them for that. And those people will do especially well, I think, when the car gets buffed. Now we are on Scotland, which is actually, I believe, my least favorite track in all of Asphalt 8, just because it's rather a dreary-looking track, which I do not really care for. Also, there are many places on it, both directions, which I really do not like driving through. So yeah, this is my least favorite track in Asphalt 9. I've said before that my favorite track was San Francisco. However, that's just in looks. I prefer something like US Midwest, I believe, for multiplayer. So I guess right now, US Midwest probably my favorite track to drive on, especially since I believe it's the track I do best on in multiplayer. So we come up to the final turn, shockwave around it, and then finish in second position. So the car in first position was actually another Ford GT, who was just one rank higher, and we did beat a 2100 rank Cian and a 2600 rank Asterion. That 2600 rank Asterion, I believe, is 3 or 4 starred. Now for our final race, which is on San Francisco against a 2100 rank Ford GT, a 2300 rank Asterion, and a 2900 rank Corvette Grand Sport, who we are now passing. Now, Gurkirat chooses to go down below and up these barrels here, which is a longer route. However, it may be faster. I don't know. I usually go through the building and then flat spin onto the board thingy and then fall down here. I don't know which way is faster. Again, confirm in the comments down below if any of you knows which way is in fact faster. So I guess it's now time for my concluding thoughts about this car. It is definitely a very good B-Class car. I believe it is the third best B-Class car in Asphalt 9 behind the Cadillac Cian and the SCG. However, in this specific multiplayer season, at 4 stars, it may very well be the best car of the season. So if you have this car, at least 2 or 3 star, definitely take it out multiplayer. You'll be able to reach Legends League in at least 1900 without too much of a problem. So just in first place, coming up to the final turn, so we drift around here. The drifting is definitely better at Fully Pro than just at 1 star. Then to finish it off, we go up these ramps, do a bunch of flat spins, and eventually end up the race in first place. One thing I want to say about this car before I end the video, if you're drifting for a long time, like around the turn in Cairo, its spoiler actually goes down. Just a little interesting detail, and you can make it go up and down by tapping it in the garage. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like the video if you've enjoyed, and consider subscribing for more Asphalt 9 and Asphalt 8 content. And I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!